Welcome back to Free Founders, where we share actionable lessons from the world's best solopreneurs and small business owners. This is for aspiring entrepreneurs who want proven strategies to go from zero to first sale and onwards to scale and enjoy the freedom that comes along with it. My guest today is Daniel Dabés. He's run Creative Product Managers, a community of 77,000 product people since 2008. He's founder and CEO of two businesses, WhistleOn and Ouvidor Digital, and he's built businesses in both Brazil and now in Portugal, where we both live. I really want to dig into, we are, friends, we barbecue together, we hang out together, talk about some less talked about topics on entrepreneurship. So today we're going to, expect to learn. We'll talk about the opportunities and challenges of launching a business in a developing country. Secondly, how to think about choosing where to live. We've both ended up in Lisbon in Portugal. And how to think about actually growing your business with intention, specifically when it comes to hiring. I want to talk about location, where you live, where you set up a business. You're coming from Brazil. I've lived in Brazil, but come from the UK. So I sort of have seen these two very different business worlds. Brazil has a lot of problems to solve. It's a developing country. There's also a lot of bureaucracy to starting a business. What would, for somebody living, let's say, in a country where it is hard to do business, and here I'm talking about, even like Germany, extremely hard to set up a business without taking on quite a lot of investment. You need legal representation. I think it costs about 20,000 euros just to sort of register everything. Crazy. What would you recommend somebody move abroad or not? Like, what are the challenges, maybe some of the advantages of starting, someone like Brazil, developing country?
Yeah, regarding Brazil is huge. Brazil has a lot of good and bad things, but I can say there is addressable market, and it's a huge addressable market. Just one language, just one people. And you cannot find this in other countries except maybe China, India, USA.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any country like Brazil. So
Brazil, nearly 4 hours per day on social media average, extremely connected population. Even a guy selling drinks in the street at Carnival has a card machine. Young population. Tell me about the advantages, and then we'll talk about the challenges.
If you win in Brazil, you win in every place. You become strong. So Brazil is like, if you go and pass in Brazil, and if you have success in any place. Because it's extremely difficult it's hard to make business in Brazil. It's hard because you have labor laws, very complex. You want to follow the law, but you don't know how, so you have to pay a lot of people and lawyers to help you. This is an example of bureaucracy. You have the economy. The economy is huge, but sometimes it's not like in Europe that I see that the things are more normal, I can say, stable.
Stable. Stable. Fluctuation. I mean, just an example for listeners, like the currency went compared to the British pound. When I lived there was 3.15, which was like extremely expensive living in Sao Paulo, and then it's 6 or 7 now. So that's 10 years different, and it fluctuates by 100%, drops suddenly by 50%. Sorry, carry on.
So it makes me strong, and that's what I think that I can. And regarding going to Portugal, it was not just like creating a business here, but I have family. I have 2 kids, and I think Portugal has more safe place. It's safe to have kids here. It's more regarding the security in Brazil is not good. You cannot go outside during the night outside your home. You can go, but you have to stay like looking to both sides and see if somebody is on the street. And you have to be careful. So this doesn't happen here. And that is another issue that I think in Brazil, because Brazil is so huge that people stay totally focused on Brazil, just speak Portuguese, They don't speak English. They are not ready to a global economy. And so if I create if my kids are here in Portugal, everybody speaks English here. They are ready to work. If Brazil is bad, they can go to other country and stay safe in other place. If my kids grow and want to return to Brazil, okay. But if Brazil goes bad, they have other option. So I'm create a new option for them.
Mhm.
At the same
I want to
time,
talk,
okay,
Daniel.
sorry.
So I want to talk about. I want to really go into this topic of, we're both in Lisbon. Me from coming from the UK, you from Brazil. I think there's some overlap in reasons, but just coming back to just final point on starting a business in a developing country. Do you, for example, the UK as a solo founder, I can start a business with like €10 and it will take 15 minutes or so. And you have zero bureaucracy until you reach a certain level of business. Until £85,000, your complexity of like taxation and what you need to declare every year is super minimal. So as a small business, it's very business friendly. And this is not a political comment, but ultimately, sorry, as in, people might argue whether that's good or bad or not, but my view is, you have to help small businesses get going, like let the flower grow until a certain point, and then sure, talk about how you should tax it and structure it and labor laws like that. So UK has always been very good at helping protect early stage fragile businesses. In Brazil, do you, and I say Brazil, but I think it's similar to, it's similar to countries like Spain, it's similar to countries like Germany that have a lot of bureaucracy and don't have different systems in place for small businesses, really. Do you think there is space for, if you were a solopreneur or ones that like, do you think it is better just to move to somewhere like Portugal, to somewhere like the UK if possible, or start the business in another country?
Yeah, regarding Brazil, it's getting better in Brazil. They are reducing the bureaucracy. When I opened my business 6 years ago, it was more difficult, more time, more license. Now it's not as bad as it was 6 years ago. So I see that Brazil is getting ready to a new economy. Brazil wants to grow, and it's more attractive from my perspective. And yes, when I came to Portugal, to be very honest, it was more difficult opening a business here than in Brazil because
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of bureaucracy. It's not digital. You have to sign a lot of papers. It is more expensive to maintain a business here in Portugal than in Brazil. In Portugal, you have to pay more taxes, sorry, more taxes, that you have more costs than in Brazil. So Brazil,
How many employees
yeah,
do you have in Portugal?
in Portugal it's just me. I have one
Mm-hmm.
employee here, but now it's just me. I want to hire
Mm-hmm.
somebody this year.
So
But yeah,
let's talk about Portugal, because many listeners, as I said, I think whether based in Brazil or in the UK or Germany or anywhere, look at Lisbon as a place to move to, a place to settle down, as both of us have done. I want to talk about the business environment, and then I want to talk about personal reasons and this topic I always think about what are you optimizing for? Like, what's your personal priorities, right, in life? Yeah, let's talk about business, because as you said, I think it will come as a surprise for, let's say, I don't know, friends of mine in the UK that will go, oh, wow, it's really nice you're living in Portugal. It must be a really easy life. And on one side, it is personal, but yeah, business here is complex. And, depending on nationality, if you can, I would always suggest still keep like opening a business elsewhere. So if you're within the EU, you can do an e-business, online business in Estonia, for example, because it's not about like trying to not pay tax or reduce tax. From my experience and from conversations with other entrepreneurs, it's usually about just reducing the stress and time. if I'm like, I'm a solopreneur, right? I only have so much time to run my business. If I'm spending loads of time on bureaucracy, it means I'm not spending time developing a product, right? Interacting with customers, selling to customers, and it can sort of slowly kill the business. So, so I think in terms of like legal and tax implication, it makes a lot of sense to, for example, have a business in the UK where I'll pay myself as a consultant, essentially. I know most British people I know here do the same thing, completely legal. And other Europeans will do something like online business based in Estonia, based not in Portugal, basically. Again, because it's not about the tax thing, it's about simply bureaucracy and stress. But also from a like sort of day-to-day business side, Lisbon has massive advantages. We're seeing lots of tech companies based here. There's a lot of investment coming in. It's a comparatively small city compared to like Paris, Berlin, London, San Francisco. So, I found we've met at events. You go to events and you sort of see not the same people, but a core of the same people. And it creates a very strong network effect, I've found. So for starting a business, I think that is very powerful. There are meetups every night for crypto or tech or design or whatever you're interested in. So how do you think of it from a day-to-day perspective, non-legal day-to-day in terms of networking opportunities here?
Well, I think it's one of the best place to stay and to have these connections here, this
And
network.
We're talking Lisbon, right? We're talking Lisbon specifically.
Yeah, I think it is because, to be honest, in my personal perspective, I have a lot of friends that I become my friends here since I came to Lisbon, and are always people that are entrepreneurs, people very very well succeed in even Brazil or other countries. So this network is huge here. It's huge, especially if you want to start a new business, not even focus on Lisbon, but abroad, other countries. It's very good because you have the best events of Web3, for instance. You have a lot of you have Web
Summit as well,
Summit
right? The big one.
as well, yes. And it's a very good environment. You can meet a lot of people, very good people that will help you to be well succeed. I stay in a co-working, and I met other co-workings and people from a lot of places from the world. I'm working with somebody from Russia, UK, Ukraine, Brazil. So you are very connected with these people that work with you every day, and you can even you that have a solo experience. I'm just here, it's just me from Brazil here and working in Lisbon. I don't feel alone. I feel very well when I go to this kind of co-work, and you have a lot of incubators as well here to help you to be well succeed creating a new business here in
But
Lisbon.
you also, there was a really important point there around, I think, particularly with solopreneurship, right? You are by yourself. You may have employees, but ultimately you're alone on this journey. And which is different from a startup, right? Where it's a close team, 3, 4, 5 people working together. So that network is super important, in terms of just having somebody to share with, like, a friend. But also, a bit of accountability, being inspired by people around you. And I've seen that even in London, London has that, but it's like a very specific part of East London. And, because it's such a big city, you're less likely to be going to these events, or it's harder to just say, Daniel, let's grab a coffee, because it's like, you need to travel 40 minutes on the metro. In Lisbon, usually things are a little bit easier. It's nice weather, so you can cycle or walk. And I think these subtle, the network, the environment is something that is really important, and is much more important than how much tax you're paying or bureaucracy and things like that. I think it really is important. If you're enjoying this episode and want to get each shiny new episode straight to whatever platform you use to listen to your podcast, please subscribe using the subscribe button below. Let's talk about personal reasons as well, because I think it's, you, as you say, you have a 40-person company in Brazil. You've got your business here in Portugal as well. What are you optimizing for? So you have children. We now have a 1-year-old. What are you optimizing for? Is it, because I think if someone wanted to maximize the amount of money they make, they probably go to the US or they go to like a tax haven in the Caribbean or something. So why Lisbon from personal reasons? You mentioned security. You mentioned it's very international. What else do you think is really important about Lisbon for, as a destination to move to for personal reasons?
Well, the connections here, the weather is great. You are very close to other countries. It's very cheap to go to Spain, France. You have promotions during the weekend. I can say I think it's a very nice country. People speak English, so everybody from other countries are totally safe, totally okay, because it's easy to find somebody speaking English here. Yes, that's what I think. It's not huge, as you said. I came from São Paulo, Belo Horizonte, Curitiba, big
Sao
cities
Paulo
with
is
2
10
million,
million, 10
10
to
million
20
people.
million, yeah.
Yeah, so heavy traffic, and here the things are very good. You don't have stress. I don't have any stress if I'm driving.
So I was going to say that's a really, again, one of these intangible, like hard to measure things. The not needing to travel on a busy metro in London for 45 minutes. The mindset you are in, not only are you going to be happier and less stressed, but I find like as a, business person, if you take away this stress and obviously the time for travel and things like that, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to be more creative. You're going to have more energy to go to a networking event or hang out and see certain people. So, I think it's, obviously happiness is most important, but like there are loads of very good logical business reasons as well to live in a place that has, it's smaller, it's got better weather, more relaxed culture, these kind of questions. And then because we've talked about in our house, like the balance of having, the future, I think, is going to be around clusters of city states. Essentially, we think about nations like Brazil versus the UK. It's really going towards a model where we have hubs, right? Certain centers of power and technology and innovation, London, Lisbon, Berlin, Paris. And I think being in one of these centers is really important, both for, us as professionals and ambitions for our own careers, but also, as you say, for our children. For example, we were living in outside of London before, about 2 hours away or so. And, I don't see there being a very good future generally for UK. We'll see, hopefully not. But, I think unless you are in London, then you're really cut off, like separated from that center of influence. And by moving to Lisbon, part of the conversation was to have children that will, speak different languages, be around technology and innovation, go to school with lots of different nationalities. For us as parents, it means, you came to my son's birthday, right? I met people here. It's, entrepreneurs, freelancers, people who are maybe also prioritizing things in their personal life, right? Like sports, surfing, or whatever it might be. I find you meet a more independent-minded, more inspiring person in somewhere like Lisbon than the average city.
Yes, I agree with you totally. When you have this environment, you have this balance. For sure, you have more success. You have to be, because it's not a journey where you have just success. You have a lot of failures, more failures than success, I think. So your mind must be good. And this environment in Lisbon, I think it's like an advantage if you want to create a new business, because this have this balance in your life that you cannot find in a big city. It's very hard to find in a big city. So people are more open to talk with you because are people from other countries. So they are creating the connection as well. The It's not if you are in your home city. I think you are not totally thinking your business. And when you find people creating new business in the same journey than you, maybe they are 10 years in your or are beginning. So you find everybody, all the kind of entrepreneurs I have talked here, and it's very good to change these ideas. Sometimes you can find a customer to your business. All the time I talk about business, and for sure you can make friendship as well in this conversation. Yes, I think it's a very good place to start a new business.
And
Lisbon is it's very good. It's very good for that.
yeah, you said something I found really resonated with my own experience, where I started my first business in about 2007. No, that's not true. Sorry, 2000 my date. I was so focused on that, like working, 14-hour days, super stressed in London. Even though I wanted to do it as a remote business and travel. I basically didn't. I learned a huge amount, but didn't enjoy the business. And as I've got older and more experienced as an entrepreneur, I think as this realization that hustle culture, or like, being in the center of London or New York or San Francisco is like the only place you could be to start a business. I've started to realize that that's the wrong mentality for most people, right? Some people really want to, change the world and build the next Google. I don't think most people do. I think most people just want to be able to pay the bills, have good quality of life, right? Be happy. And so I think, part of moving here was aligning some realizations like with my business, and also then these lifestyle changes that we felt would be better somewhere like Lisbon. So how do you think about what is success for you now in terms of running a business now? And has that changed since your first business, for example?
Well, the success is you have customers paying your bills. You have addressable market. You have a good product. You have a good business, profitable. And if it's not profitable, even you have some cash to burn. But if you have a plan. But I think is when you have a business, my success is have this business and don't stay 24 hours running this. So in the beginning, it was like that. Maybe 1 or 2 years, I was working like 24 hours because I was creating something new. But I have competitors. My competitors have 100, 200 people working on that. And it was just me. So I have to work more. But when you are in a small business, you have control of everything. You do everything. You do marketing, you do sales, you do all the bureaucracy. So I was fast. I can put the strategy very fast. This is what I think. When you find a way to sell your product, you find some market. Maybe if you have one customer, two customers per month, okay, go further because you can find more people. And the success came. I don't know if I have success. I know that I have a good product, a good company. It's profitable. It's the first. I mean, in technology, I invest a lot of technology in my company, so my product is different. And I have some life balance. So I think the success is about not just your business, your stay, your life, how you handle with this. It's very easy when you don't have a good mindset and become bad with some depression. You can lost everything you create in your life because you give up your job. Maybe this can happen in your family. So you have to be very, very focused on and make the deals with your family and have time. Like, I'm going to stay here 1 year. If this happen, okay. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to return to the labor job, to normal jobs, I mean. From my perspective, success is this, is when you have your balance in your life and your business is enough to pay your bills. And if you make some savings, okay, that's from my perspective. Somebody have some more ambitious to be, like you said, creating a unicorn like Google or any kind of company. It's completely hard to make this. I think it's just one step. If you give up your job, if you are not working to other people, you have so many benefits. Like uh, you can make your surf, you have flexible time. You can work 2 days on a week, or you can work 5 days. You choose. So you don't need a lot of money. It's just a new step of your life. Maybe you can have the same money, but you'll be happy. I can say more happy, much more happy than you were before. And that's the point. Because if you are trying to be Google, you'll be frustrated every time. You are
Yeah.
always be frustrated because it's completely different. It's very, very hard to find a business and to become a unicorn. But
And on that
yeah,
point as well, I read lots of biographies, and almost always, if you read about, an Elon Musk or a Bill Gates or highly successful, I say highly successful, famous people who have built very large businesses, they always have to sacrifice something, and usually it's family and or health, usually both of those things. So I think it's always easy to say, oh, it would be great running building the next Google. Not only is it hard, but also it comes with a certain sacrifice that is, that level of focus and determination on that one specific thing means that inevitably you're sacrificing other areas of life. And that's fine if, Elon Musk is very clear, like he wants to improve the world, and objectively we could look at it and say, yeah, he's right. He's probably already saved thousands of lives just through improving air quality in cities, just with Tesla, right? One of many businesses. But he also has 6 children that he never really saw. One of them he sees now, but there's a sacrifice there, I think, is my point to just be aware of. And yeah, I think the environment, as we talked about, somewhere like Lisbon is makes it a lot easier to find a good balance in life and a good quality of life. Then I just want to close the episode with 2 quick questions, 2 quick fire questions. What advice, just if you could only give one piece of advice to an aspiring solopreneur, somebody that wants to start their own business, what would it be?
don't give up.
Good. Yeah, I don't think you need to say any more. Don't give up. I like it. Yeah, very good advice. Very hard at the time, but something you'll look back and go, wow, thank you. Thank God I didn't. Good. And what do you think the most important thing is for an entrepreneur to, let's say you've just started the business, maybe you have some paying customers. What is the most important thing for them to focus on?
Resilience is the must.
Same thing.
Because you have a lot of hard situations in your journey, a lot of, and all the time you question yourself, what I'm doing, why did I choose this? So that's about the first. Don't give up. Stay ready, because it's
I think
a
it's
good, yeah, it's a hard journey. But if you have a plan, if you have a time, if you do a plan like, I'm going to stay here for 3 months or 6 months, if you have your savings to make this, don't give up. Stay focused, because it will not work in the first time. You failed. I failed a lot of times, and you have to try and try until find your market fit. So you have to make the mindset and stay focused on to be more and have resilience. And this is some power that you have, but you have to be focused to
yeah,
don't
and
lose this.
it is a superpower because not many people have it. I think it's really good advice because we talk a lot about, well, yeah, you need to focus on finding a problem, building a solution people value, getting paid customers, scaling paid customers. But at every stage, you're going to have challenges. Even once you've scaled and you have a stable business, new competition comes in or the market changes. There's always going to be something that you go, all right, new challenge. Let's go and face it. And I think, yeah, resilience is incredibly important. Excellent. Well, look, Daniel, final thing. If people want to follow you, learn more about you, check out your businesses, are there any links or recommendations that you want to share?
Well, if they want to follow me, they can follow me on LinkedIn at Daniel Dabés.
I'll share the link.
Okay, thank you. And my community, I have a group with product managers. So if somebody wants to become a product manager or want to share ideas with product managers, go to my group. Its name is Creative Product Managers. It's on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Well, look, Daniel, thanks so much. And I think we'll see you in the next few weeks for a barbecue at my house or your house. And yeah, really, really interesting actually to talk about, like this place that we live. And I think the benefits and just getting people to think about being intentional, maybe in where they want to live, whether they have a business already or whether they're thinking of starting a business. So thanks so much, Daniel. And I'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to another episode of Refounders. If you enjoyed this episode and want to get each shiny new episode straight to whatever platform you use to listen to your podcast, please subscribe using the subscribe button below. If you're feeling generous, why not share with a friend?